Good evening, Svaraman. How are you doing?
Good evening, Narsi. I'm doing well. Nice to be speaking to you on this discussion here.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to talk to you as well. So we have with us Sivaram Pillai. He is a co-founder of Proklean Technologies, which is one of the few successful green chemistry startups that I have seen in many years in India. And I have the pleasure of having him with us for our CLIMAFIX Climate Talks, where we look at specific topics being raised around climate technology. Just very quickly for the audience, Proklean is a pioneer in green chemicals, specifically around probiotics and bio-based chemicals. And they have done a smart job of focusing on key segments such as textiles, paper, home chemicals, and they have been extremely successful. But interestingly, today, I want to talk to Sivaram about something slightly different. And that's because they have such a unique background, the founders themselves. So Sivaram, are we all set to go?
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Fantastic. When we spoke about Proklean last time, you mentioned that all the founders were above 50 years of age when you started Proklean.
Yeah.
Now, that brought me to this particular TikTok with them, because usually for startups, youth is considered to be a big asset. And usually in conventional industry, in conventional logic, people think, well, if you're in your mid 40s, 50s, then you have a whole lot of challenges, be it speed, be it flexibility, be it commitments, be it the aggressiveness that is required. So can you share some thoughts on when you guys started, all of you being about 50 plus years old, how did you overcome these challenges that are part of anybody in their middle ages or in the senior ages? How did you overcome these challenges?
So I would say it goes back to the reason why we become an entrepreneur, why we set up a company and go on a journey of exploration. That is the biggest factor in my view. Just to share our experience, in fact, I was 56. The other two co-founders were slightly younger to me. So the average age was above 50 when we started. I'm 70 now, still going at it. So I think the reason why we persisted, and I must tell you that we had several challenges in the last few years that we have been building Proklean. In fact, in 2015, when the floods hit us, we were almost wiped out. Our production facility went underwater. We lost all the inventory, and we had to literally start all over again. Why I'm sharing this is that in my personal opinion, what I've experienced in this journey over the last 10, 11 years is that having a purpose beyond a financial goal of the enterprise is extremely important for the longevity and resilience of an organization and, of course, the founders. Now, what specific issues and challenges somebody like us, as you said, seniors or people beyond 50 when they start up, those are some very unique positives, and there are, of course, some challenges with such a startup group. I think the biggest positive, in my opinion, is the experience behind us. All three of us had spent years in corporate life, and we had managed teams well before. And so I think that experience is very valuable when you are trying to build an organization. And the entrepreneurial journey or setting up a startup and growing it is building an organization. And I think the experience which you've gained over the years comes in very handy. I can tell you that has been one of the primary reasons. Apart from the fact that all three of us had an objective of wanting to do something useful to the society and reduce pollution around us, being in the climate area, even before it was fashionable to talk about that. So I think that purpose also was another reason why we persisted and we were resilient in an organization. So I would say experience for senior people who start up, I think experience come in handy, and that is very useful in my opinion.
So I'm going to ask one quick question around the experience part. Are we talking about, you see, on one side you have experience in terms of industrial or functional or technical experience. That is obvious, right? That's a huge asset when you are older rather than when you're younger. But have you in your startup journey also had the have you experienced where experience played a much bigger role because we were more mature? Did that matter as well in your startup journey? Because typically, if I'm 25 years old, I may be very aggressive, but I may not be very mature. Did that play any role in your startup success?
Absolutely. I would say that is a very key factor, because more than the technology experience or let's say knowledge of chemistry and those aspects, I think the success of building an organization lies in dealing with people and building the right team. Getting the right people on the bus is the most important thing in my view. So there, maturity plays a very big role. The way you handle youngsters or people who come to us. First of all, how do you attract good talent in a small organization which is yet to make its mark in the business which we are trying to establish? How do you get good people on the board? I think that comes because of the maturity levels of the founders, the way they treat the people who come in, valuing the contributions from people, giving them comfort that this is not going to be a owner managed, Lala company. It is going to be a place where it will be interesting to work and contribute. I think that's very important. So maturity, I think, is more important than the experience in the technology area or the chemistry or those aspects in my view.
And my feeling would be for things in climate tech, which are more longer term than the typical startup domains, like let's say maybe a fintech or digital, where things take longer to mature and succeed. Such maturity to handle people could be coming in very handy. Wonderful. Last question to you. What would your recommendation be or suggestions be to people who are in their 40s or 50s who are wondering, should I startup? Am I too old to start a startup? What would your few words of suggestions be?
Number one, I would say that you're never too old to do anything, in my view. And my own personal experience of having turned entrepreneur after having spent 30 years in corporate life, I can say that it is a very enriching experience. But I would only caution that you spend enough time thinking about why you want to do it, right? The purpose for which you begin to establish a startup, become an entrepreneur, must be bigger than just to make some money. In fact, I think there is some advantage when you are a senior person. You have many times you are at a stage in your life where making money is not the primary objective, and therefore I think that helps a lot. So that is one thing I would recommend to anybody who wants to take this up. Second, of course, is you must be clear that you have the attitude and aptitude to take risks, right? If you're turning an entrepreneur at a late stage in life, which means you have not been an entrepreneur before, you have been an let's say an employee, or you have been a professional where you had a steady income. So when you become an entrepreneur, you are actually exploring unknown areas, and there will be lots of challenges. I can tell you the life of an entrepreneur is not very rosy. It can be very satisfying, but it can be pretty challenging. So I think I would recommend that you become clear and say that I have this aptitude, I'm willing to take this risk and do these things, because the journey itself is going to be so enriching that it is worth doing all this. So to summarize, I would say never too old to start any enterprise. Just become clear about your reason why you're starting. Let it be something bigger than the financial objective. And thirdly, be sure that you have the aptitude and the ability to take risks and explore unknown things, because you will face unexpected things as you start up and grow in an organization.
Sivaram, wonderful talking to you. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the CLIMAFIX Summit on November 25 and 26 at IIT Madras.
Thank you, Narsi. It was so nice speaking to you. I'm also very keenly looking forward to seeing you all at CLIMAFIX.
Thank you. Bye-bye.